Hi everybody, and welcome to this lesson or this tutorial on working with CloudFormation templates. So in this lesson, what we're going to do is we're going to launch a very basic CloudFormation template and launch an EC2 instance through that. And then we're going to go ahead and see how change sets work in its basic format and change that EC2 instance that we created. So as you guys can see, I have created a basic JSON file in which I've called it or described this EC2 instance as Qasim's EC2 instance. This type is again like an EC2 instance. The image ID is this, and the instance type is going to be a T1 micro, which is the smallest EC2 instance that is available. And if you guys might be wondering where I got this image ID from, well, if you go into your AWS console, here you guys will see all of the AMIs that are pre-built or pre-configured for you by AWS. Now if you have your own AMIs, they will show up here with your organization and you can just select the AMI ID. But if you don't have your own, all you can do is just copy this AMI ID and paste that here and then select what instance type you want to launch this specific AMI ID in. So I've saved this as basic.json locally on my PC. Now I'm going to go ahead and navigate into CloudFormation. You guys will see I'm in the CloudFormation dashboard. First thing I want to do is go ahead and create my stack. Now here we have a couple of options. We can either say the template is ready, meaning we have a JSON file or a YAML file created. We can use one of the sample templates that are provided by AWS, and you guys can see there are several sample CloudFormation templates that are provided or pre-built for you by AWS. So let's say if you want to launch a WordPress blog or a Ruby on Rails stack, whichever you want to launch, you can select that here, or you can complete that in the designer, in the template designer. And just to quickly show you guys what the interface looks like, and we'll discuss it later on in the course. So this is basically what the designer looks like. You can drag and drop the resources that you want to launch through this GUI interface. But what we want to do is, since we already have that JSON file, we want to say the template is ready. Now after that, we also have we again have a couple of options. We can either reference a S3 URL. So if I, for example, uploaded that file in an S3 bucket, I can just simply reference that URL. And as a best practice, most organizations, if they do use CloudFormation templates, it's always a good idea to have them saved in an S3 bucket. So have a bucket created that houses all of your CloudFormation templates. But since I have it saved locally on my PC, I'm going to upload that file. There we go. As you guys can see, I've uploaded that file. And just to show you guys what it looks like in the designer again, there we go. As you guys can see, this is the EC2 instance. Only one is showing up because that's the only thing we are provisioning, is simply just that one EC2 instance. And here you guys see that JSON file that I created in my text editor is showing up here. So now I'm going to go back here. I'm going to click on next. This stack name, I'm just going to call it basic launch. Now here we can also specify tags for this. So I'm just going to reference something here just to show you guys, after the instance is created, how we can use these tags. The permissions, we can specify a specific role, or we can just have it use a default role. And several other advanced options, and we'll go through these later on in the course. So for now, I'm just going to click on next. Here it allows me to review everything that is happening. And I'm going to go ahead and create my stack. And one good thing about this, it gives you real-time progress in terms of what's going on. So if you guys see, there's a refresh button on the top right. If I just hit on refresh, it will take me through step by step what's going on through the launching of this CloudFormation template. And all of these will stay gray until the instance is launched, and you guys will see then the green options will show up to let you know that this CloudFormation template has been completed. There we go. As you guys can see, that it's saying that the creation is complete. So let's go into our EC2 instance and see if it actually has created that EC2 instance. And there we go. As you guys can see, I have a T1 micro instance type created, and towards the bottom I can see all of the details. This is the instant ID, and here are the tags. This is the tag that I created, the udummy and the EC2 basic, but you guys also see 3 more tags that have been automatically created by the CloudFormation. Now, if you guys remember from one of the previous lessons, I had mentioned that CloudFormation tags the resources it creates. So each stack will be tagged individually. So all the resources that are created with an individual stack will have their own unique values. So each one will have a logical ID, a stack ID, and a stack name. As you guys remember, the stack name was basic launch, and this is the ARN or Amazon resource name for that specific stack. So each stack will be individual. So that way it's very good for monitoring. It's very good for keeping trail of what was launched through which CloudFormation stack. So now let's say, let's walk through changing a stack real quickly in its basic format. So let's say that we've launched this, but now we want to upgrade this from a T1 micro to a T2 micro. So let's go back into our CloudFormation. Let's go back into our basic launch stack. And what we want to do is, if you click on actions, we have an option for update the stack. So let's go ahead and click on update the stack. And here we can either use the current template, replace the current template, or edit it in the designer. So I'm going to go ahead and go back into my text editor. And instead of a T1 micro, I'm going to do to a T2 micro. And instead of the description Qasim's EC2 instance, I'm going to just change this to reference second. I'm going to call this file basic change just to have it differentiated. Then I'm going to navigate back. I want to replace the current template. I'm going to upload the new file. Click on next. Next. The tags I will keep the same. And here you guys will see it's referencing what's being changed. Now, obviously we only have and are launching only one EC2 instance or one resource through this template. But if, for example, your template was launching an entire web backend, if it was launching databases and auto-scaling groups and elastic load balancers or multiple EC2 instances, now whatever you had changed in the change set will show up here. So let's say that if your original CloudFormation template had launched 5 EC2 instances and 2 databases, and the only thing you were changing were the EC2 instances, so only things that are changed or are going to be changed will show up here. So this is a good way for you to just double check to see that this is essentially what you do want to change. Now, when I click on update stack, it'll take me through that, again, back to that same reference screen because this is not a new stack. All we're doing is updating it. There we go. As you guys see that the basic launch update has been completed. So let's navigate back into our EC2 dashboard. And there we have it. As you guys see, now it's instead of a T1 micro, it is a T2 micro. There we go. So that's essentially how the change sets work. So if you wanted to change those resources, you are also able to do that through here. So I hope you guys got a good overview in terms of how we can launch basic CloudFormation templates within AWS, and essentially how simple that process actually is in terms of launching it, and also in terms of if we want to update or change any of those resources.